Hey guys, it's Thomas, and if you have been searching for scholarships and you feel like you can't find any that are relevant to you, or you're just struggling to find any at all, or the ones that you are finding, you're just not winning, those kinds of things, then this video is for you. We will be talking all about how to find college scholarships. And we will specifically be looking at 5 different methods for finding college scholarships that are relevant to you, that you are more likely to win, and some of the details you need to be aware of. So let's jump right in. First thing first, there are scholarship search engines. All right. Now, these types of things include scholarships like scholarships.com, unigo.com, fastweb.com. And then there's even an app called Scholly that you do have to pay for, but it is something that you can use if you're interested. Now, some of the things to know about these. The pros are that you're going to find a lot of scholarships using this method. Some of the things to be aware of, though, is that not all of the scholarships that you're going to find are going to be relevant to you. And I know that that seems counterintuitive, but basically, when you go to these types of scholarship websites, you're going to enter typically some sort of profile information telling them about yourself. And then ideally, all the scholarships that they send to you should be relevant, right? But that's not always how it works. And sometimes you get scholarships that are still just not applicable, either for you don't meet the eligibility or you don't meet the requirements. So just be aware, not every single scholarship that these types of websites give you is going to be one that you should apply for. So just be aware of that. Also, you want to be aware of what are called sweepstakes scholarships. You've probably seen or maybe even applied for these types of things already. But a sweepstakes scholarship is basically any type of scholarship that doesn't require you to do anything except give them your information, right? And then the way that they select a winner is like a lottery, right? They just pull a name out of a hat and ta-da, you won. Those are sweepstakes type scholarships. The concerns with those is that you don't have any way to improve your odds or chances of winning. So however many people stick their name in a hat, that's your odds. They're not very good odds of winning. And then on top of that, likely they're just trying to collect your information to then sell to an advertiser or something like that. So they're collecting your personal information to use to make money for them. And all they had to do was offer up, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 a month to give to one person. So you're effectively giving them your private information for free that they're then going to sell and make money for them, but it doesn't benefit you unless you happen to be the winner of the scholarship sweepstakes, but your odds of winning again are very low. So just be aware of that when you're doing this type of search. All right. Now, another way that you can find scholarships is just with a Google search. All right. But be aware when you're searching a Google search for scholarships, you can't just look in like Google search scholarships, right? It needs to be more specific than that in order to find things that are more relevant to you. So you're going to want to search for specific things about who you are in your scholarship search. So the types of things you might be wanting to put in are like your gender, maybe your race or ethnicity, or a particular field of study, or if you're studying something in a STEM field, there's often STEM scholarships. Any particular special interests you have or extracurriculars, sports that you play, or arts, or any of those kinds of extracurriculars, just specific things for who you are. And those more specific things about who you are going to yield you better results in the search results for the types of scholarships. All right. And other things you want to be looking for is what month or time of year. Again, if it's the summer, then you can look up a lot of scholarships that might not be due anytime during the summer, right? They might be due in the winter. Or again, if you're searching for scholarships in January, then you're typically going to want to have a scholarship that's due sometime in January or February that's coming up. You don't want a scholarship that's due in September right now, because it's not going to help you because you can't apply for it yet. It's not even open yet a lot of times. So just be aware of what time of year it is and actually put that in the search while you're looking. Be like, hey, scholarships due in February, scholarships due in March. And throughout the year, you can find ones that are due just a few months away. Now, I would recommend, if you're using this method, don't necessarily search for the month you're in. Now you can, but if it's already January and you're searching for scholarships due in January, you're probably going to find a lot of scholarships that might be due, say, the 1st through the 10th of January, and it's already January 5th or something, right? So then you've missed some already. So if it's already January, you might be better suited to search for scholarships due in February, all right, or even March, and kind of get that ball rolling early so that you have time to actually do well on an application. And that's, again, going to increase your odds, your likelihood of winning, these types of scholarships. Now, another great resource is a high school counselor. Now, there are different names for these types of positions. Again, it could just be high school counselor, it could be high school guidance counselor, it could be college prep officer. There's different names. Every school or every district or state might have a different name for it, but you're going to be wanting to search for the person at your school that is a counselor type position that can help you with this. And some schools may have more than one counselor. And so your counselor might not have given you great information, and go ahead and just knock on the door of one of the other counselors if you're at a large school. I was at a school, I think we had like 5 different sort of academic counselors in the same office. And so if you were working with one and you weren't happy with yours, try to find another one and see if you can work with them. I know technically within your school, like usually they're assigned like A through H last names is this person, and I through it. Well, yes, officially through your school, you'll have to work with that counselor for your academics. But when you're talking about stuff for college and beyond, if your counselor is not helping you, feel free to meet another counselor for those specific things that are not related to your actual high school experience right now. Now, one of the reasons these guys are a great resource is because they're going to help you find local and school specific scholarships. When I say school specific, I mean your high school, not the college where you're trying to go. That's actually coming up in a bit. So you want to use these folks to find local scholarships or scholarships that are offered through your school, because the competition is going to be significantly less than, say, a national, say, Coca-Cola scholarship or the Gates scholarship, something like that. Those are national scholarships, so tons of people can apply for them. Literally thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people could apply for them. Not necessarily every year they will, but those kinds of numbers. Versus if you're only applying for, let's say that your school offers a particular scholarship to being in the band, right? Maybe your school has $1,000 or $500 scholarship for somebody from band, or somebody that's on a certain sports team, or thespians, or any of those kinds of activities within your school. That they might have like a booster club that offers a $500, $1,000 scholarship, that kind of a thing. Then the only people that can apply are specifically people from your school, and specifically people who are graduating, and specifically people who are in this activity, right? So the pool of applicants is much smaller than some of these other things. So you want to use your resources at your school, your high school counselors, if they're available, to find these types of scholarships for you. The smaller, more local scholarships are going to be easier to win, mostly because the competition is lower. All right, so keep that in mind in your search. All right, and these folks can also be great for letters of recommendation. Your high school counselors can write you fantastic letters of recommendation for scholarship applications and for college applications. So keep them in mind and build those relationships with these folks while you're still there. All right, you're going to want to treat applications for scholarships like a part-time job. And so the reason for that is because if you take, an hour and you apply for a scholarship, well, if you multiply that out and you apply for 10 scholarships over the course of 10 hours, and obviously the more scholarships you're applying for, the shorter amount of time it takes to fill out the applications, because you're getting better at it, right? With more practice. But if you think about, let's just say you win 10% of the scholarships you apply for, right? You may win more, you may win less, but let's just say 10%. Then if you apply for 10, you can assume that you probably are going to win one of those. So then if you apply for 20, you can assume that you're going to win 2 of those. But if you only applied for 1, 2, or 3, and you're like, I never win scholarships, you need to continue to try to win scholarships consistently throughout the year. To try to apply for at least a handful each month, because your likelihood of winning them is going to go up significantly the more you're doing it and the more applications you're getting in. So treat it like a part-time job. Just etch out some time in your schedule. Be like, all right, from this time to this time on these days, I'm just going to apply for scholarships. And the return on investment can likely be higher than what you would make if you were actually working a part-time job and getting an hourly salary. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, you can also win college-specific scholarships, all right? And that's AKA institutional scholarships. And so institutional scholarships are scholarships that are going to come not from your high school, but from the college that you plan to attend. And so why are these such a great benefit to you? Well, you can win both merit scholarships, and merit meaning the types of achievements that you win, maybe test scores or maybe certain accomplishments that you have to use to qualify for them. And there are needs based, which are based off of how much money you are determined to have to pay based on things like your FAFSA application and things like that. So the needs based is based off of how much income your family makes and different criteria related to the overall expense of the school. So there's a lot of details that go into it that I'm not going to go into at this point, but just know that you can win both need based and merit based scholarships from the college that you're trying to apply to. All right. And you're going to want to go to the financial aid department or their website or make a phone call to get a hold of these folks so that you can start to figure out what financial aid is available, what grants, what scholarships, all that stuff that comes directly from the college that you're applying to. And you may also have to fill out an additional application. Now, likely the application for a lot of scholarships is part of your application to the school. So in this case, it's more for your information to just know what scholarships can I qualify for based on my application. You're not filling out another application. You're sort of automatically included in those. But there are departmental scholarships that you might not know about and that typically aren't included in your application to the school. An example of that from my life is that there was a scholarship that I was able to qualify for, and I didn't know about it. I didn't learn about it until my junior year. So I'd already been paying for 2 years of college, whatever I didn't have covered. But this scholarship was up to half tuition, so all the way up to half of whatever the tuition was. And it was specifically if I took a religion minor at my school. That was it. I just had to minor in religion, and that qualified me for up to half my tuition being covered by this scholarship. Now, I didn't owe a full half of my tuition. I only owed, a few $1,000s at that point each year. And so it covered the remaining amount that I still owed for my junior and my senior year. But if I knew about that departmental scholarship my freshman year, then I could have done that from my freshman year on, and I wouldn't have had to pay anything my freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior year. So just keep searching at your school. Look at specific colleges within your university or specific departments, and they can have scholarships available. My brother found one as well as a leadership scholarship. He got a leadership minor, and that gave him a grant or a scholarship to apply as well to his tuition at the school he was going to. So keep that in mind. Departmental scholarships can help go a long way. All right. And you want to just keep applying because we talked about earlier, there are going to be times where the more often you're applying, that the better and more efficient you get at filling out the applications. And you'll find that some scholarship essays that you've written for some scholarships are applicable to other scholarships. So you don't have to write a whole new essay. You can just take the essay you have already written, maybe tweak it and edit it and revise it a little bit, but like the bulk of it's already there. And so if you get another scholarship that's similar in context, then you don't have to rewrite and start everything from scratch. You've already got the essay written. So the more often you apply, the faster and easier it gets, and the more likely you are to start winning. All right. Now, in addition to that, another great resource is called the Ultimate Scholarship Book. And I do have a link for this down in the description. It'll take you over to Amazon. You can buy the book. But this Ultimate Scholarship Book is great because it indexes and it organizes different scholarships. So if you're looking for scholarships for a specific reason, like maybe religious scholarships or maybe math scholarships or maybe scholarships for women or anything like that, there's indexes that kind of break them down and help you find scholarships that, again, are more relevant for you. So you definitely want to use that as a good resource. Also, if you're interested in finding lists of scholarships that you can apply for different months throughout the year, you can click a link I have down in the description that has monthly scholarships. So if you click that link, it takes you to a whole list broken down by January, February, March, each month. And then click on the month that you're looking for to download a free PDF that has a list of scholarships. And in the PDF, you can click on the links and go directly to the websites of those scholarships. So definitely check that out. Or if you are a high school student or a parent of a high school student, then I have a link to a course I've put together to help you start thinking about how you're going to pay for college, different things you need to know about different types of colleges, and just different strategies you can start to knock out in order to have a successful college experience and not have a ton of student loan debt. So if that's something you're interested in as well, then you can definitely check that out. Now, if you want to continue to watch scholarship content, then you can check out this playlist here, or you can watch this video YouTube thinks you need to watch next. You can even go to my website, thomastries.com, and check out any other resources that I have for you. Either way, we will see you in the next one.